Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is Marla Schultz from Flip the Switch, and I am so excited today because I have two awesome comedians joining me. This is a big technical win. And if you look, you see up on that handsome man, this is Johnny Beehner. He was the last man to make his debut on Letterman. He's been on Dry Bar Comedy, Gotham Comedy Alive rather, and then the gorgeous woman at the bottom is the one and only Christina Walkinshaw. She's a Canadian comic, been nominated 3 times for various awards. She's got her half-hour special from Just for Laughs. Hey guys, welcome.
Hi Marla, thanks for having us.
I'm so excited. I hope you guys and everybody can hear me because again, I am a techno tard and this is like a really, really big deal that we're doing. You guys are live and this is a reunion because the 3 of us worked together on a Norwegian cruise line to Alaska. And of course, you guys were absolutely hilarious. And when you're a comedian and you work on a ship, you're always hoping that you have a cool comedians to hang out with. And I really hit pay dirt with the 2 of you. So how's everything going?
I'm doing great. I mean, I just want to say I'm a bit of I'm not good with this tech stuff either, just in case anybody's watching this and they think I'm the only weirdo that doesn't have the flip the switch thing. But then when I do it, look at that, you guys. So then I cut in and out like a weird, freaky monster. So that's why.
And the yellow looks like, you have, some issues with your teeth, like maybe you didn't have enough fluoride growing up as a kid.
I think I do. Yeah. And now I'm just like trying to like sit where I'm blocking out my bed because I realize I haven't made it yet. So I'm just trying to.
Oh, you know what? First of all, Johnny, you're in the Midwest, Wisconsin, right?
I'm in Madison, baby. Madison, Wisconsin.
Which is a really cool town. And Christina, you moved to New York. And what was it, like a week later, the pandemic hit?
Yeah, I moved here March 1st. I actually technically moved here February 29th. And I romanticized that. I was like, I'm taking a leap of faith on a leap year. It's perfect. And then I got here and everyone died. So.
Oh, that's terrible. And like, what made you decide? Because you had like, you were living, was it Lake Hollywood? You had this sweet, sweet place. You were queen of the LA comedy scene. So what made you
definitely not.
So what made you decide to pick up and move here?
I've always dreamt of living in New York. And this apartment fell in my lap. Like I have a wicked apartment in Williamsburg. And
yeah, it looks amazing.
I pay $1,500 a month. I just got offered, I kind of threw myself at this apartment in December, not really thinking I would get it. And then the guy kind of came back to me in late January and was like, yeah, he's like, do you want the place? And I said, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm moving to New York. This is the 5th city I've lived in my life, but, and I just like, I love it. Even though I got here during COVID, I know it sounds weird, but I'm still really happy to be here. Like, I feel like one of the only things I can do right now is like walk, and walking around in this city is, I could still kind of explore and, I don't know, even though I can look at the comedy clubs. I like window shop for life.
No,
I'm just like, well, this would be nice to do one day, or in the old world. And, but there's still an energy to New York, even when you're stuck in your apartment. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And Johnny, what's happening in the Midwest? How have you been?
Oh, I've been fine. I'm doing the virtual schooling with the kiddos, and that's a living nightmare. It's awful. It's the worst thing. It's the most stressful. I just tweeted, I'm going to plug my Twitter. I just tweeted that virtual schooling is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, and both my parents are dead. So that's how bad it is. It's awful. Right now, I've got my 7-year-old watching my 1-year-old so that I can.
Hey, listen,
be on Flip the Switch.
Early.
Flip the switch.
Flip the switch is right. And so let's share our experience. You guys were working a week before I arrived, right?
Yeah.
We met a week before you arrived.
Yeah, we had never met until that cruise ship, and now we got a lot of inside jokes.
Yes, we do. Explain that.
No.
You don't want to? Is it too early in the morning? I just remember you were really regular.
Oh yeah, I'm not even talking about those. I guess you could go to a lot of different directions with the word loads.
So was that your first time, both of you? Was that the first time to Alaska?
No, I'd done it before a few times. I'd only done it like, I think that the time we cruised, that was probably, I'd only been doing cruise ships for maybe a year and a half, but that was probably like my 4th or 5th cruise ever. So, but it was my best. It was my best.
Yeah.
That was definitely the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, that was the best cruise. And I only started working for Norwegian in 2019, but I think I'd done a few at that point. So I was getting, a little used to how it works. And,
No, you guys are really comfortable. And me, I have no business being on a cruise ship because I just, the minute the boat pulls away, I start like having panic attacks, and I immediately think I'm on that Carnival cruise ship, that was off of Galveston, that was adrift for 5 days and shit was coming out of the walls. And I just was freaking out. And then what are the guys called? The Toms, the little managers, that guy?
Well, our Tom was Kirsty. And then we had our other little manager, Justin, right?
Yeah, he was like up my ass and like praising me, and he wrote me up for saying the word ass.
I thought it was pussy.
No, she said that, but she got written up for ass. I remember it very clearly.
Tell everybody.
The audience. Well, you were so like in your head, like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, I'm gonna get fired. And you were so in your head and worried, but the audiences loved you. And I thought it was hilarious because you were like, oh, this is kids show. There's kids in the audience. There's kids. I don't know if I could do this. And then you did your pussy joke. Which on paper, I guess, would be considered clean because you're not saying it. What's the punchline?
You're referencing a cat, technically.
Right.
Yeah, no, I said, God, it looks like I'm burning up with fever. I go, growing up, my grandmother called me Pussycat, and then the Alzheimer's set in and it became Pussy. And I went out on a date with this guy and she said, so Pussy, how, what's new? And I said, he was a nice guy. I really wasn't that attracted to him. And he was just about, obsessed about eating and food. And she's like, Pussy, it's a very healthy sign for a man to be obsessed about eating, Pussy. And can I tell you, that was one of my first jokes. And I thought it was like, I was so brilliant because it was, it was like a double entendre in this. And I think it was that joke where I got written up. And I don't know why I always thought I was going to get fired. It just, you know what it is? It's like the judgment when you're walking around, and it's different to be a dude comic because people come up to you, and plus you're so tall and handsome and everyone's like, are you the comic? You're so funny. And Christina, I don't know if you felt this, but sometimes women would just look at you, or people would be like, I think that's the comic. And then they would just look at you. And of course, I then created this neurotic subtext, like, oh my God, she was terrible, blah, blah, blah. But that's just my mental brain. Did you guys have any of those feelings?
I mean, I definitely had a guy come up to me when I was remember like that nice observation deck that we really liked?
Yeah.
So I'd hang out there sometimes and write and read. And I definitely had a guy come up to me and was just like, oh my God, I just want to let you know that I really liked your stuff. I thought you were hilarious. And I was like, oh, thank you. He's like, I know some of the people didn't like it, but I really liked it.
What's up with the backhanded compliments? It's just so strange.
I know you really struggled and no one seemed to like you, but I liked you.
Right.
Huh?
Oh, after I saw you, I went on a 14-day cruise, and that one I was really having panic attacks, and I wound up being so sick, and it was hitting the East Coast Caribbean, and we went all around. I landed in a place I didn't even know it was on the map. And it was really so many of the women were super, super judgy. And I was hanging, and the two comics, one guy was nice, but he just lived in his room. And the other one was like, look, I'm not your buddy. And I was like, hey, pal, back off. And I wound up hanging out with like the bands and the singers, and I had a great time with them. But one night I was out with this, she was like in Dreamgirls, amazing singer, and her husband. We were out having cocktails, and this woman and couple come over and they're like to the singer, "Oh my God, you were so great." And then she then goes, "Oh, this is Marla. She's a comedian." And the woman just looked at me and goes, "Yeah, I saw you." And I was like, "Oh," and then and it was just hard. And plus I was seasick the whole time.
You should have stole the other comic's line, said to the lady, "Look, I'm not your buddy."
There you, he said that to me. And then, he's like, "I'm not your buddy." Because at first you kind of want to hang out with the comic, right? Because you're like, okay, we're in this together. But then when I was like, okay, sit and spin. And then next thing I know, the magician and the like the middle-aged singers and just the ensemble shows were like, "Hang out with us." And two guys were fighting over me, which really made me feel like, yay. And then the geeky guy comes over and he's like, "You want to go to dinner?" And I was like, "Sorry, spoken for."
I did a gig in like Grass Valley, like, John Fox up in Seattle. He books like a lot of nice one-nighters.
Yep.
And I did a show there and I loved it. I had so much fun. And this girl added me on Facebook like the next day. She had taken a photo of the woman beside her, not laughing at my set, and sent it to me. Just like this really angry woman just looking at me like this.
That's awful. And
Why
you know
would
what
she
killed me, Christina?
you?
It was like you were doing jokes. You have the kid show, and you're just, you're wearing your hot mini dresses, and you look fabulous, and you're talking about like anal sex and like all this stuff as you're hosting. And then Johnny, you're clean as clean. And, both of you are like fan favorites. And I get nabbed for having my grandmother call me Pussycat.
I mean, I didn't do any of the anal jokes in front of the children.
You didn't?
To be fair.
To be fair, forgive me. I just remember all your great dating material. And I just love how you laugh like after all your punchlines. And that's
I sound like the worst comedian of all time.
No. I mean it totally. Like it gives such a it's like you're so confident and you're just like, this is entertaining me, and you just have the best giggle. Johnny, would you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree. One thing, like the thing, like working with you guys, like I remember when you're on a boat, it's the same every night, it's the same, a lot of the same people. So you're kind of really, by the end of the week, you're really digging the bottom of the barrel. So I just remember like near the end of the cruise, just being like, okay, what's going to make Christina laugh, and putting together like a poop set list of like old jokes I haven't done since I started that are like, I still think are hilarious, that are just poop jokes. And It was like, okay, so the comics are my audience this show.
I do love your poop material. You know that.
I do too.
But that's one thing I like about hosting role on the ship, right? I'm only doing 10-minute sets. And so you're right. Like I like to plow through. I was the same way with Johnny. I was like, oh my God, I find like, I got to try this new joke. I'm going to go way into the archives. I'm going to I can do this joke from like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Like the first joke I ever wrote, because who cares? Like, let's just throw it all out there.
Yeah.
People come back and watch us like 5 times a week sometimes. You're like, oh, if you want something new, you're getting something old.
Right.
You know what made me crazy was when people would come and then they'd be sitting in the front row, and that makes me crazy, especially when you're doing a corporate gig. And you know that the joke, and you get that teetering or tittering, it makes me nuts. And I mean, after doing this for like 25 plus years, it will still kind of throw me, because I'm like, and I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I'll let Johnny field this one.
I'm sorry, that was a stupid question.
Oh my gosh, this is great. I was trying to take a picture of the screen to post, so I wasn't even listening to the question.
Are we the best interview you've ever had, or
actually?
Well, let's see myself.
I love the energy, and I had such a good time with you. You know, my husband and I, we bought a ton of edibles in Seattle, And I wound up eating the whole one of the whole ones before we got on the boat. And I was super like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden I look at him, we can't take them with us. We can't take them with us because they're going to go through our stuff. And he's like, are you kidding me? We'll just say it's like Starburst. And I was like, no. And I regretted not taking them because I just felt like I was drinking myself sober.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. When you're on those for so long, you got to do something to mix it up, whether it's get wasted or do an edible or something.
Or like sleep with a dueling piano player. Just flip the switch, Just
flip the switch. So let me ask you, what made you, and what made each of you, first of all, go into comedy and have the confidence to know that you were funny enough to do this crazy job? Christina, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I started comedy a week before my 19th birthday. So I was like, just like a young, I didn't have any fear. And now I'm like stuck in the dream of my 19-year-old self. And now I'm fucking shitting my pants every time I have to do it. I've lost all the confidence I used to have.
That's so
like,
true.
What am I still doing this for? I'm not even, sometimes I'm like, especially with all these like outdoor weird shows, now I'm like scared to get off certain subway stops. I'm like, is my dream worth this? Like, am I gonna die? Like,
but you've had a lot of success. I mean, you've been, first of all, you started in Canada, which is a birthplace of some really funny, great, memorable comedians. And then you've been nominated for 3 different awards. You were at the Just for Laughs. Like, what do you think happened? Like, how do you think,
Where did it all go wrong, Christina?
Yes.
Why are you burping for money on OnlyFans now? Okay, I'll see myself out. Oh, it's fun.
You know what? Maybe you should even think, what's that weird stuff where people like, they make those weirds, AMDR, where they make, they talk really loud.
ASMR.
ASMR.
Yeah, I got some ASMR fans.
Do you really? Do you do recordings?
What was that?
Can you do recordings on that?
Well, like, I don't know. They just like different sounds, right? Different sounds like excite them. So like, and I guess my burps kind of file into that category.
Oh, your burps are legendary.
Thank you.
Johnny.
Onlyfans.com/burpsmagoo.
Oh, so
in no relation to Loads Magoo.
Right.
That's good. That's good. That's like a whole nother separate area for people that are into like the scatological stuff.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Beehner, how
Yes.
did you know? When did you get into this? When did you know like funny was money?
I don't know. I mean, I did all the theater and improv stuff. And then when I was in college, I tried stand up because my brother had done it. And, I just fell in love with it. And it is funny because I was like, when you asked me to do it, I was like, well, is it anything I need to prep? And you're like, no, we just talk about like your passion for comedy and why you got into it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. As I'm like scurrying for ways to get out of it, since it's, we're in a pandemic right now and there's no money in it at all right now.
I'm working on the sponsors for sure. But do you remember what your first joke was?
Oh gosh. I wish I had the media. I could just pull it up. I did a bringer show in New York, and it was one of my yes, this is one of my first jokes in my first 5-minute set. It was something about how I hate looking for jobs so much. I think people should pay you to look for a job. I would rather look for a job than have a job that pays shitty or something like that. And then I say, and I would use the money, get this, guys, I would use the money to buy a piece of poop. And then I say, no, I'm just kidding, everyone. And it's like, what in the hell? And what's funny is like, cause they would, this was in 1999.
Wow.
And it was at, it's called New York Comedy Club in New York,
Yes.
Yeah. And you could like pay to have them make a VHS of your set, and then you get it like a week later. So I like had a week where I was like, oh my God, I killed. That was awesome. Everyone was laughing. I'm going to be a star. And then I get the tape a week later, and it's like, I can tell everyone was laughing at how terrible, like, you see a train wreck. It's like funny. And I realized, but it was too late. I had that week of flying high in confidence that I was hooked.
How long were you in New York for?
The like 3 months, the summer of '99, because my brother went to college there, and then he lived there, so I just lived with him in the summer between semesters at college.
Oh,
And
that's
did
cool. Now, were you at the original New York Comedy Club on Second Avenue?
I think so. I only went to the one, and I don't know if it was the original or the other one.
No, there was one. Mary Kennedy was on last week, and she started in New York as well. And I'm surprised I didn't run into you because I used to do shows at New York Comedy Club, and it was on Second Avenue, like around 49th Street. And the bathroom just smelled like, one of those discs that dudes pee on. And there was like, the floor was rotting. I think I remember, but I just remember I would never want to go to the bathroom, and I always had to pee right before I went on the show. When I hit the stage, it's just still affects me today. I don't know, what it is. But New York Comedy Club was such a great place to start. And the New York in the 90s, it was such a ripe, awesome time to, kick off your comedy career. That's why I started like mid 90s. So I'm surprised I didn't run into you.
Yeah, it was the summer of '99, and I did bringer shows. I think that was the only club in New York I did that summer, and then I started just putting on my own shows on campus and around Milwaukee. And then the next 2 summers I went to LA during the summer, so I would like stand in line at the Laugh Factory and do the Monday potluck at the Comedy Store and all that. So that was kind of how I started.
We were all in LA. I got there in 2000, and I was there from 2000 to 2005. I came back to New York for a year, and then I was there till 2011. And I can't believe I didn't run into you guys either, because I was, Christina, I was one of the original, Pretty Funny Women with Lisa Sunstead. Did you do any of her shows?
I was in LA from 2016 till February 29th. So I think I was a little post you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I was in LA after 2015. I moved there mid 2015.
Oh, okay. So we definitely wouldn't have run into.
So I think I know why we never crossed paths.
Absolutely. Now, did you were you, first of all, personally, I couldn't wait to do a cruise to Alaska, and it was beautiful. Like when we went through those channels and we were like right in the middle of those mountains. But I gotta say, I felt like all the towns, catch a can, to catch a thief, catch a whatever. They all reminded me of like shitty ports in the Caribbean, because they were all selling the same stuff. Like, what was your impression of it?
I thought Alaska was adorable. I loved it. But what do I need when I get off a port? I just like want to get a beer and a slice of pizza. Like, I'm pretty low maintenance.
Yeah, I just need Wi-Fi. That's all I need.
Right. No, listen, it was so beautiful, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there wasn't enough time to like go on an excursion that wasn't $600 to get in a prop plane that, may or may not crash.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, see, you went on, like, you made me feel bad, because the first time I ever did a cruise, it was in Alaska, and I didn't even get off the boat. I was so scared they'd leave without me. So I was like, I'm not getting off. What if they leave without me? So I didn't see anything other than just looking over the boat. And then when we were all together, like, I still have somewhere on my phone the video you sent me of your whale watching excursion. That's like the closest video I've ever seen to a whale. That was so cool. And I never do those excursions.
Well, you know what? I was dead set on seeing a whale, and I just, the back of the boat, I don't know if it was like on deck 7, and they had that restaurant with the beautiful giant, like, I don't know, cruise window, bay window.
Yeah.
I just thought it was so awesome to see those whales. And we went on TripAdvisor, and we found a small boat, and it was like maybe $60 as opposed to the $500 that the excursions, even if you got 20% off because we were a talent. That was awesome. And I thought Victoria was one of the most beautiful cities. And if I could go live there when the world falls apart, I would go live in Victoria.
I grew up in Vancouver, so I used to go to Victoria all the time. Victoria's like, yeah, I love Victoria. It's great. I've lots of time there.
It's like a mini Vancouver, right?
Yeah, sort of. Like, I mean, it's the capital of BC, so it's got like, you know, some nice government buildings, and I don't know, I don't know. It's just, it is a really pretty city, but I don't know. Like in Vancouver, we kind of know it as like people refer to Victoria as newlyweds and nearly deads, because it's all like students and seniors.
That is so funny. That is so funny. So, Christina, so you've been, you know, doing walk-bys to a lot of comedy clubs here, and your videos are so funny. And I just love how you're one of the, I think, one of the most positive comedians I've seen.
I'm like one of the only positive comedians. Like, you know what I wanted to say earlier? I don't know if anybody caught me trying to like interrupt you like a rude guest, but I want to go back to talking about pee for a minute. Sorry, Johnny, not that I don't want to talk about poop, but I do, but I have something to say about the pee. So I find you were saying that when you go on stage, you feel like you have to go pee. Don't you feel like it's almost like a weird like nerve phantom pee? Like I'll go on stage, I have to go pee. Then all of a sudden I'm like, I realize when I get off stage, I'm like, where did the pee go? Like I don't have to go anymore.
Yeah, and it makes me, I mean, as a middle-aged, you know, as I'm in middle age, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, do I have to start wearing Depends? But you're right, it is a phantom. It's part of just, I think, adrenaline and oh my God, I gotta go. It happens, and it's been happening the whole time. What about you, Johnny? Do you have
I think that a lot of that is probably, it's like Pavlovian. Like a long time ago, you'd get nervous before, and so you have to pee. And then you're not nervous anymore, but you've always had to pee before. So then your body thinks you have to pee. Yeah. It's like, I used to have that, but it was like sweaty shits, you know?
Sweaty shits.
Sweaty shits.
Where you get nervous, your butt gets sweaty. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's, and then if that happened to me, I'd be like, oh my God, can my fellow comedians smell this? Am I going to like have a trail of scent? And recovering from COVID, I have lost my sense of smell and taste, and it's either a blessing or a curse. I haven't figured that out. You too?
Take a photo. Everybody smile.
Yay.
I will be able to capture screenshots of this. So
that might even look better.
Yeah. So listen, so what's on tap for you guys? Like, how are you keeping your comedic chops alive?
Zoom shows.
Are you doing a lot of them?
What?
Are you doing a lot of them?
I am. They're not, it's obviously not the same, but some of them are, you know, you get to scratch that itch because it's a good audience. A lot of the ones I'm doing are like corporate happy hour, or, you know, or taking a break from our meeting. Here's a stupid comedian, you know, stuff like that.
Hey,
so
listen,
it's not super fulfilling, but
I'm available if anybody's looking for a New York, well, both of us. You know, I'm just starting to do them. I've been, it's just been crazy. My mom has been sick, and she's, you know, had to have surgery, and she's doing really great. But I just need to get back into it. It just throws me to do material and then not be able to hear laughter and or a delayed, you know, feed. But I've hooked up with a lot of the West Coast comedians. So I'm doing one on, I think the Friday, the 27th. And I'll post that.
Those West Coast Zoom shows drive me nuts because they always start at like 8 p.m. and then that's 11 our time. And then I get like, sometimes I'm going on after midnight and I'm like, oh, like I'm so tired. Like I think I fell asleep at like 10 last night. So I'm going up after my bedtime and I feel like I don't know. I'm either asleep or half asleep or drunk, or, you know, who knows how you're getting me, you know?
That's right. So Christina, how are you going out and meeting people?
I mean, I'm going to go do a show outside the Flatiron building tonight.
Wow.
Like I've still managed to get some spots, like outdoor spots and Zoom shows, but I had this idea. I was kind of excited to maybe just go underground and just like write for this whole pandemic and not worry about performing. And then I wanted to, like, after this, record a new album and call the album Untested. because it would be all material that I've never tried. So it would almost be like an album that was almost like open micing, because I don't know if anything's gonna work. So but now I feel like I've actually been able to test out some of these jokes. So then I couldn't like fair and square do the album, but still kind of a bit of a little thought in my brain where I'm like, I still feel like I'm due for a new album. And I've certainly done some writing here in my shack.
Have you been productive, Johnny?
No, not at all. It's all, and I blame my kids. Very bitter towards them. They're eating up all my time.
Your kids are adorable.
They really are cute.
They better be. Oh my God.
So cute.
If they weren't so cute.
I thought I was going to like write my book and, get into great shape. I just, in the beginning of the year, my dad passed and then my husband had to have a surgery. And I just was so exhausted from taking care of my father, who was like in and out of hospitals and going back and forth, not to be depressing, but I just was so exhausted. And then it just felt like a mini depression hit. And when I feel like I'm still on a cruise, because you know how all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I better get to the gym and eat something because I have a show tonight. And I could only accomplish like 3 things per day. And I felt I was more productive then than I'm now. And I'm like, oh my God, we're like wrapping up 2020. And what do I have to show for it?
Yeah, but I think that's how we all are.
Yeah. I'm definitely fucking wasting a lot of time. I have a goal of finishing a book too, and I've barely put like dents in it in the last 8 months. And I feel like you tell yourself, oh, if I had more time, I would do all this stuff. And then it's like, I have all the time, and I am watching Ted Lasso today. Like, I'm busy,
Oh, I'm like the one more episode of the Queen's Gambit.
I love it.
Great show. I love like British stuff. We just watched Caliphate, which is like Swedish, and I'm really into just terrorism and great crime dramas. Johnny, what are you watching?
The Brothers Grimsby. Have you seen that? Did you see that movie?
Not yet.
It's a older, well, it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, Sacha Baron Cohen movie. It was like written.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
My wife, I'll put it on. My wife's like, this is so stupid, and then she goes to sleep. So I like had to watch it in 3 different sittings, and I'm still not done with it, but it's hilarious. I like bad movies. That's a good movie, but I like dumb horror movies and stuff like that. So
I like dumb horror movies for sure. And I don't know, like I like true crime, like true crime documentaries. But the other night I was binge watching a show called Murder Comes Home, which is like the dumbest one to watch because it's all murders of like women getting killed in their own homes, which during a lockdown, why am I not watching the shows where the only women that get murdered are like married or have life insurance or walk by a river? I should be watching those ones, not this fucking one where they come into your house. Like, an idiot.
That reminds me of my husband. Like right before we get on a plane, he watches How to Survive a Plane Crash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you watching this? And he goes, well, if the plane crashes, I want to be the one that survives. And I was like, but what about me? What about me? You mentioned Sacha Baron Cohen. Have you guys seen the new Borat?
Of course. Yeah.
How crazy. He said he almost got an ass whooping. When he sang the song at that rally.
I see like behind the scenes where he has to get in the trailer and they're like trying to get in, and that guy's got balls.
He's got huge balls, and the whole Giuliani thing was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so good.
Really, really brilliant, and it's really scary. It just was a nice peek into Americana. And we'll just leave it at that. So you guys, we're coming up on 11:40, and I just want to ask you, so Christina, you're working on a book, you're working on your underground special. What else, and what makes you really, really laugh?
What makes me really, really laugh? I don't know. Farts. I don't know.
Farts
hey, that was my answer.
That's my answer too. And now, not having a sense of smell and taste, it's great. I can lay a really good one in front of the fan you know, and it, as the fan oscillates, it just like pollutes the bedroom. And my poor husband, whose smell just came back, is like, I can't believe you just farted.
I mean, I like the way that you're seeing the positive side of COVID. Yeah. You don't have to smell farts.
I hope I take off my COVID cupcake weight, which is like, I'm clocking in at about 6 pounds. And when we first came out, for my birthday, I bought this hot pair of jeans, you know, because I'm usually wearing the Gap and Levi's. And I mean, I spent like over $100 for these jeans, and they fit when I got them. And then when we were able to get out, I brought them to the tailor, and I was like, eh. And all of a sudden the tailor was like, you think you could get bigger size? So my goal is to be able to fit into them and wear clothes that I bought right before this whole thing hit. And, you know, it's just weird to eat food that you can't taste. And, you know, you think, okay, let me eat healthy food. It's like, nope, I'm still going to the comfort food. So have you guys stayed in, you know, healthy and in shape?
I've lost weight since I moved to New York. All I do is walk, and I've been started running outside on the track every day.
I saw.
Yeah, it's getting cold, but yeah, like I've lost 15 pounds since I left LA.
You must look amazing.
I mean, do you want me to stand up and show you my ass, or no? I was kidding. I'm not going to do it.
Donnie, what about you?
I've lost 25 pounds, and I'm not trying. That's the thing. It's like, I'm not trying. And I think the only explanation is that I'm not on the road. And when I'm on the road, I eat fast food so much. Totally. And now I can't, because, you know, my wife would murder me if I had fast food for no reason here. She doesn't even like me doing it on the road, but she can't watch me. So like now that I'm home, I can't, you know, and I don't drink soda. And so I'm just like, I'm literally have lost 25 pounds since, you know, I don't know, March.
Yeah.
I am so jealous. Well, listen, can you be my health buddies? Can we do like little check-ins?
Yeah, totally. Do you want me to send you all my Instagram stories of me on the track?
I've seen and I've contacted and I've, you know, liked them and everything.
I'm a fitness guru online. I'm a fitness guru, and I'm also a professional burper.
I love that.
A lot of hats.
I love that. I love that. So
That's
listen,
perfect.
You guys, would you come back on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We should do a recap. And I'm just
in the beginning, we talked about what a bad comic I am.
Wait, say that again?
I said, well, when you said a recap, and I was like, well, in the beginning, we just discussed what a bad comic I am.
Hardly. You guys, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. And I really loved working with you. And hopefully we can work together somewhere on the land, because I don't think I want to get back on a cruise ship. And Christina, you and Johnny, would you go back on a cruise ship?
Totally. I'd do it. Once it's safe. Once it's safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Not this month.
Not tomorrow or anything.
Yeah.
Well, I may do it, because at this point I will be immune, and I just want to see if I can, you know, put on my big girl panties and get over my stupid, you know, anxiety about being on a boat. But I don't know if that's going to happen in this lifetime. Okay, you guys. Well, listen, big kiss. Thank you so much for coming on. I mean, social media.
We should plug our hospitals, right?
Let's hope we can all work together again.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
All righty. Have a great one.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.